Your other ringing devices. Right? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are ready to begin. I'm going to start with a few announcements, so that we don't rush through them at the very end. To remind you, we have a new yoga class on Saturdays at 1:30, Gentle Yoga. Karen Lutz is here tonight, and she ably leads that class, and it's lovely. And we have all the props you need, and she will help you make any adjustments, accommodations. If you don't want to get on the floor at all, you don't have to. You can sit in a chair. So I really encourage you to check this out. Okay. We also have Maj on Tuesdays. We have yoga again on Wednesday morning. And there will be, I believe, Fran, is Fran here? No. We have a book discussion on Wednesday at 11. I think that's an in-person book discussion. You can check the newsletter for the book that we'll be reading. Next Friday, we will be honoring Yom HaShoah, the Holocaust Memorial, and there will be Rabbi Falik will be back, and there will be a short video. May 7th, May 7th, May 7th. Say it, everybody. May 7th in the afternoon. Joseph Palazzolo and friends will be presenting a concert for us right here. Say it, right here. So please, if you would, buy your tickets in advance so that we know you're coming. It would be so helpful to know how many people are interested and will come.
By the way, sorry about that.
Darth Vader.
Yeah, really. By the way, the link is on the first page of the newsletter. So it's right there. You can just click and there you go.
And you can buy your tickets online. You can come into the office. You can buy them in person. You can buy them tonight, whatever. Okay. Deep breath. And let it out. All right. As these Shabbat candles, Cheryl and Howard are going to be lighting I forgot. Cheryl and Howard are going to light our Shabbat candles. Our readers tonight are Ruth Kadish, Karen Lutz, Lonnie Fleischer, Deb Luria, Mark Luria, Marty Bernstein, and Sandy Altman. Now we begin. As these Shabbat candles that we are about to kindle give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. Oh, you can do it from there. From the floor, you'll be able to reach that better. As their brightness reminds us of the generations who brought light, so we may, in our own day, be among those who bring light.
Baruch haor ba'olam, Baruch haor ba'adam, Baruch haor ba'shalom, ba'shalom, Baruch haor, Baruch haor, b'Shabbat.
We have our first reader. Number 2. That was the song. Oh. That was the song page.
There are times when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. When we gather on Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are times when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. When we gather on Shabbat, we consider our true place on this planet. There are times when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. When we gather on Shabbat, we remind ourselves that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. Let us embrace this moment, a Shabbat gathering to unite, to learn, to better ourselves.
Shalom Aleichem, Ohavei HaShalom, Shomerei Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Let us endeavor to find still moments, quiet spaces within to refresh ourselves, moments without ceaseless questions or inner debates when we meditate only on goodness. Let us endeavor to nurture courage, recalling moments of strength. Let us remember days of fortitude and the power that we found. Let us endeavor to turn to light, to feel the warmth of a loving touch, our faces and fingers outstretched, alive to each other.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nakabla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nakabla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nakabla. Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nakabla. Likrat Shabbat likhu v'nelcha, ki havracha b'meva, b'simcha b'rina u'b'sola, b'nei Shabbat nakabla. Lecha Kadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nakabla. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nakabla.
I love looking at all of you. I do that every time, I know. May we strive to lead loving, compassionate lives with our hearts, with our wisdom, and with our actions. These words we inscribe in our innermost being, aspiring to practice them day and night, teaching them diligently to our children through our words and especially through our deeds, so that the next generations may learn to revere and celebrate life.
My light is in me. Where is my hope? My hope is in me. Where is my strength? My strength is in me and in you, and in you. Where is my strength? My strength is in me and in you, and in you.
Hello all. May all who walk the paths of righteousness, who work for the good of humanity and bear the burdens of others, and who give bread to the hungry, and who clothe the naked, and take the friendless into their homes, see the work of their hands endure, and may the seed they sow bring abundant harvest.
נפתח לנו שערי צדק, חן וחסד ורחמים. נפתח לנו שערי צדק, חן וחסד ורחמים. זה השער לשלום, נפתח לנו ונבובם. והשער לשלום, נפתח לנו ונבובם. נפתח לנו שערי צדק, חן וחסד ורחמים. נפתח לנו שערי צדק, חן וחסד ורחמים.
Don't merely expect to find or to believe that life is worthwhile. Make it worthwhile. Don't merely see life whole, make it whole. Not knowing which should come first, to improve oneself or to improve the world, we end up doing neither. Actually, the only way to improve the world is by improving oneself, and the only way to improve oneself is by improving the world.
לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור, לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור, ולא אתה בן חורין להיבטל ממנה, ולא אתה בן חורין, ולא אתה בן חורי להיבטל ממנה, ולא אתה בן חורי. לא עליך לגמור, לא עליך לגמור, לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור, ולא אתה בן חורי להיבטל ממנה, ולא אתה בן חורי, ולא אתה בן חורי להיבטל ממנה, ולא אתה בן חורי.
When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when, to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then goodness encompasses our lives and we can begin to change the world.
אמר רבי עקיבא, אמר רבי עקיבא, ואהבת לרעך Amar Rabbi Akiva.
I've read this so many times, I love it. And then all that has divided us will merge, and then compassion will be wedded to power. And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then both men and women will be gentle. And then both women and men will be strong. And then no person will be subject to another's will. And then all will be rich and free and varied. And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of the many. And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance. And then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old. And then all will nourish the young. And then all will cherish life's creatures. And then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth. And then everywhere will be called Eden once again.
Nase shalom, shalom ba'olam. Nase shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam ve'imru shalom. Nase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Shalom, Naseh Shalom, Shalom Ba'olam, Naseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Ha'olam, Ve'imru Shalom.
In this community, where we find strength and common purpose, we turn our minds and hearts toward all those who need our love and support, those who are ill, those who suffer pain of the body or spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. Tonight, we send well wishes to Ruth E. Goldman, Ruth Moltz, Rabbi Peter Schweitzer, Jim Walker, and well wishes to Arthur Liebhardt. And hope that he doesn't have the COVID, and it might just be allergies. So, anybody else you would like to mention, starting in this side of the room? Yes? Yes, anybody else? Thank you. Right, and all those victims of any violence anywhere. May all who suffer know that they are not alone, that we are there. May they be healed quickly. May they experience a refuah shlema, a complete recovery, the renewal of their bodies and the renewal of their spirits.
Makom hakoach betochenu, mekorot habracha mevrotenu. May the source of strength that dwells so deep within us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Shalom. Makom hakoach betochenu, mekorot habracha no refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Shalom.
You can shed tears that they are gone, or you can smile because they have lived. You can close your eyes and pray that they will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that they have left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see them, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember them and only that they are gone, or you can cherish their memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what they would want, smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. Our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every people and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Tonight, we honor the yard sites of Lawrence Altman, Yaffa Bagley, Robert Berman, Rose Bricker, Francis Burke, Arlene Bernstein, Max Hirsch, Fred Kellman, Shirley Klein, Milton Luria, Richard Lutz, Adrian Mendelson, Saul Plafkin, Martha Ryder, Benjamin Jacob Roast, Sam Schenkman, Helen Schernit, Josephine Walker, Max Weinstock, Lawrence Weisberg, and Dorian Shalom. And anybody else from this side of the room? Yes, Tom? Rosalie Brown. Andy? Karen? Marty? Or Judy Porter? Yes. Anybody else? Yes? Sure. Okay. We recall now our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. Yehi zichram livrecha. May memories of them provide blessings. And if I ask you to stand, if you can do so comfortably, for the reading of our humanistic interpretation of Kaddish. Nit gadal v'nit kadash b'ruach ha'adam. Let us dignify and ennoble all people in the spirit of our shared humanity. Let us acclaim the preciousness of life. Let us show gratitude for life by approaching it with reverence. Let us embrace the whole world, even as we wrestle with its parts. Let us each in our own way take up our share in serving the world and seeking truth. May our commitment to life help us to strengthen healing of spirit and peace of mind. May justice and peace permeate and comfort the house of Israel and all those who dwell on earth. And let us say, Ken Yehi, may it be so. So, I'm not Jeremy Moss. I'm not Jeffrey Falick. So I'm happy to be presenting to you tonight. And the number one question as people walked in is, what are you presenting on? So some people got the answer, it's a surprise. And others will know that it's kind of a, you'll hear, that's part of the talk. So, a man is in desperate financial straits and prays to God to save him by letting him win the lottery. Days go by, then weeks, and the man fails to win a single lottery. Maybe I better put these. Okay. Finally, in misery, he cries out to God. You tell us, knock, and it shall be open to you. Seek, and you shall find. I'm going down the tubes here, and I still haven't won the lottery. A voice from above answers, well, you've got to meet me halfway, Bubala. Buy a ticket. So, and for those of you who've attended one of our bar mitzvahs, you'll know that I often look to Mr. Rogers for words of wisdom, and tonight is no different. Fred Rogers answered a girl's question about why wishes don't come true and he wrote, dreaming and wishing by themselves don't make anything happen. It takes people to make things happen. Well, we all know that the only people that can help us in our lives is us. There are no magic powers, and in today's world, this can sometimes feel overwhelming. Each week, Rabbi Philip writes a commentary that appears in the newsletter somewhere towards the middle or bottom. They're always well thought out and relevant, but he's really under the impression that no one reads them. So when you read the next week's commentary, let him know what you think. Did you like it? Did it rub you the wrong way? Either way, he's going to know that you read it, and that will mean something to him. So let me read you an excerpt from this week's commentary. He wrote, one of the best things about a holiday is the opportunity it offers to escape all the bad news, if even for only a little while, and to enjoy the company of friends and loved ones. Sometimes they offer an opportunity to actually run away, which is exactly what Arthur and I did when we took a very brief weekend excursion to Chicago to see my beloved Cubs. That's Jeff's, not mine. So, like most breaks from reality, it was all too short because these days reality never really stops coming at us like an angry bull. Another mass shooting, another attack on women's reproductive rights, another book banned, another assault on LGBT people, on black people, on anyone defined as woke. And then there's our ubiquitous former president frothing at the keyboard as he hurls insults at, well, pretty much everyone outside his shrinking circles of fervent followers. According to many reliable polls, I'm not alone in my exhaustion. A growing majority of Americans are becoming sick and tired of ginned-up culture wars that serve no purpose other than to divide people from each other. Well, that's not quite right. Culture warmongers also crave the power they gain from the division they sow. Rabbi Jeff concludes, we are limited creatures with finite mental resources. Our humanistic mission to create a society centered on human dignity and informed by reason is overwhelming. No single person can achieve it, and even our best collective efforts are bound to enervate us, even to the point of bodily and spiritual collapse. So, springboarding off of this, when I start feeling overwhelmed and wondering how I can help others, how I can do something to make this a better world, I often look to the wisdom of Ram Dass in a book that he wrote with Paul Gorman called, How Can I Help? Given the state of exhaustion Rabbi Jeff writes about, it is important to be smart about our activism. Ram Dass was born Richard Alpert in 1931. As Dr. Richard Alpert, he was a prominent Harvard psychologist and psychedelic pioneer. In 1967, he traveled to India, a trip that would change his life. He met his guru, who gave him the name Ram Dass. He then became a pivotal influence on a culture that has reverberated the words, "Be here now," ever since. This would be the title of his first book. Be Here Now was published in 1971 and still stands as the centerpiece of Western articulation of Eastern philosophy and how to live 100% of the time in the present. His book, How Can I Help, was published in 1985. It remains relevant today. He writes that often we experience the interplay of generosity and resistance, self-sacrifice and self-protectiveness. Think about these situations that we encounter weekly, or even daily, or even multiple times in a day. The person standing on the corner with a sign saying that they are homeless and hungry. Do you reach out of your car window and hand them a buck or two? Or do you think, I donate money to organizations that help the homeless. Why doesn't he just go there? I've done my part. Do you hold the door open for the person behind you when you're going into a store, or are you just so preoccupied in your own thoughts that you rush through? Do you take the shopping cart back to the store, or at least to the corral? Some refer to these smaller acts as random acts of kindness, but they do have an impact. How many of those requests for donations that you receive in the mail do you even look at before you drop them in the recycle bin? What are the lessons that our parents were teaching us when they tried to get us to eat our plate of food because children were starving in China? Were they trying to teach us compassion, hunger, economics? I'm not sure, but I know after a while we would retort, so send it to them. Don't get me wrong, sometimes helping can make you feel good while doing good. For instance, when you cannot cram one more sheet or towel into your linen closet and decide to purge. Some of those things are no longer fit for humans, but you bag them and donate them to the local animal shelter. Or you no longer have room for any more clothes in your closet or chest of drawers, so you purge and bag and take those with more life in them to the local thrift store. These acts give you a sense of order and relief from decluttering, and also provide a valuable resource for others, be they human or not. We help for all kinds of reasons. We help because we have a feeling of responsibility. We feel we should. It's the right thing to do. But sometimes we help because we're looking for self-esteem, approval, status, power, the desire to feel good, or pay back some debt. So do you stand on the street corner with your sign with that social justice message on it because it makes you feel good? Or is the message on that sign really going to change a mind and make the world a better place? Maybe both things happen. But Das asks this question: how does who we think we are affect what we have to give? During the day, we wear, well, in me here in this place, I wear many hats, but during the day, we wear many hats in our life. At work, we're the professional. We come home and we are the spouse and or parent. The evening news comes on and we respond to life with our own perspective as a liberal or conservative or unlikely these days, somewhere in between. The phone rings and it's our parent. Now we're the child. We prepare for bed and we look in the mirror and we see that time is marching on, our body is aging, and we wonder how that's going to affect our life. Many times a day as an individual, we're changing roles as we travel through time and space, and each of these personae result in varied perceptions of the issues we face. When trying to discover the right thing to do, we have these internal conversations with ourselves all the time. We're always seeking to protect ourselves. For example, our head says, keep the doors locked so you'll be safe. And our heart responds, but I'm not happy that way. I want to let everybody in. And the head rationalizes, better safe than sorry. Or maybe it was bringing up a political issue at a family dinner where you knew it was going to spark controversy and tempers that could not be controlled. So you stay away from that subject because being with family is more important than political differences this time. As much as place, time, and circumstances guide our actions, our personal biases, perceptions, and histories are as much an influence, if not more. In a collection of essays called This I Believe, Sarah Adams writes, "Be cool to the pizza dude." She writes that this is her one operating philosophy in life. Being cool to the pizza dude is good luck. Principle 1, she says, coolness to the pizza delivery dude is a practice in humility and forgiveness. Let him cut you off in traffic and forget to use his blinker. Just let his traffic transgressions go. Don't even give him the finger. Just know that as the pizza dude speeds by with his illuminated pizza sign on top of his old model compact car, that he is busy delivering pizzas to people of all ages, colors, races, genders, vegetarians, and meat eaters alike. Principle 2, coolness to the pizza dude is a practice in empathy. We have all taken jobs just to have a job because some money is better than none. In the big pizza wheel of life, sometimes you're the hot bubbly cheese and sometimes you're the burnt crust. Principle 3, coolness to the pizza dude is a practice in honor and is a reminder to honor honest work. They don't take over a company and artificially inflate the value of stock, cash out their shares, and bring the company to the brink of bankruptcy. They deliver your pepperoni pizza hot and ready to eat. Principle 4, coolness to the pizza dude is a practice in equality. Measurement as a human being is the pride we take in living life and the respect with which we treat others. We are the equal of the world, not because of the size of our TV or the car we drive, how fast we can run, or the calculus equations we can solve. We are equal to all we meet because of the kindness in our heart, and it all starts here with the pizza dude. Das talks about need of compassion. He posits that we all have an attraction to human suffering. We have all had the experience of gawking at an accident on the freeway or watching indescribable suffering on television during times of war or terrorist attacks. We know that for our own mental health, we should retreat, turn the TV off. But somehow we cannot, we're drawn to it. Ram Dass says, on the other hand, this attraction awakens an empathetic response. Empathy in this sense is the desire to help. Whether we reach out and help or not is another thing. We want to help, but only to the point of our own comfort. We are often afraid that we will become too drawn into someone else's suffering, so we keep our distance. Who do you help? What issues get your attention? Today it seems easier to help. When it comes to political and social justice issues, we can become armchair advocates. Particularly with the aid of modern technology, a push of a button on our smartphone or computer, and we've sent a letter to a senator or a donation to the charity of our choosing. Then when we see that homeless man begging on the street corner, we don't have to look him in the eye. We don't have to dig for the dollar out of the bottom of our pocket. We can feel perfectly just in thinking to ourselves that we've already made our contribution. We are isolated and insulated from the troubles of the world, yet satisfied that we've done our part. This is a way in which we can control our compassion. There's so much tumult in the world that it is often hard to spend too much time on one issue. For instance, one Friday, you can hear a speaker on human trafficking. This is awful, you say. How can I help? Then the next weekend, there's a documentary about the young children in your community who are going to bed hungry every night. This is awful. How can I help? Then your neighbor tells you about the ministry that they're involved in where they are providing support to U.S. children whose fathers have been deported. This is awful. How can I help? It's like a ping pong match. Where do you put your emotional and physical energy and financial support? Then you have to ask the question, how do I help? Has anyone asked what those being offered help really need? Do those that you perceive to be needing help really need help? For instance, one person does not eat for 3 days and finds enlightenment. Another man is hungry and has not eaten for 3 days. He needs help. Excuse me. One of these people did not eat by choice. The other was a victim of circumstances. The victim is the one who hurts and needs help. But it's important to ask what help is needed. Otherwise, you end up with a room full of items that were generously donated, and the intended recipients just don't need those things. How many times have we heard that victims of hurricanes don't need tons of our old clothing when they are still digging out of sludge and destruction? Krista Tippett writes in her book, Becoming Wise, we've all been trained to be advocates for what we care about. This has its place and its value in civil society, but it can get in the way of the axial move of deciding to care about each other. Listening is an everyday social art, but it's an art we have neglected and must learn anew. Listening is more than being quiet while the other person speaks until you can say what you have to say. Instead, we look for generous listening. Generous listening is powered by curiosity, a virtue we can invite and nurture in ourselves to render it instinctive. It involves a kind of vulnerability, a willingness to be surprised, to let go of assumptions and take in ambiguity. The listener wants to understand the humanity behind the words of the other and patiently summon one's own best self and one's own best words and questions. My friend Paul was in a park one day, and he saw a mother and her young son playing. The boy started crying because he broke his toy car. The mother was trying to fix it by saying, "It's okay, sweetie, we'll go to the store and buy you a new toy car." He kept crying and repeating that his car broke and crying. What the mother did not realize was he just wanted to be heard. He wanted her to acknowledge that he was sad and that his car broke. I'm sure later he'd be happy to have a new one, but at that moment, in that time, he just wanted acknowledgement of his feelings. So sometimes we need to listen, ask questions to understand and acknowledge. Sometimes this is all the help that is required. Physically, emotionally, financially, we all have limitations to our resources. So instead of impulse helping, take a moment, step back, ask the questions, and find out how you can be the most impactful. Discern which of those issues is most important to you. Focus your energy in a way that is meaningful for you and the recipient. At this time, where it seems we are faced daily with news of natural and man-made disasters, and we get to the point where we just feel we need to shut down and dig our head in the sand, or maybe follow the path of a Hindu or Buddhist sage and go meditate in a cave for months at a time, we need to take care of ourselves to alleviate the exhaustion. Find the time for yourself, whether it is a walk in the neighborhood power park, riding a bike or motorcycle, digging in the dirt, whatever brings you joy. Make time for yourself. Make time to spend with your loved ones, your family, your friends. These are the things that will energize you as we strive for repairing the world around us, one little step at a time. Maybe, just maybe, by being intentional in our actions and focused in what we do, we can remediate the exhaustion and avoid heading for that cave. On this note, I would like to end by telling you that starting next Friday, I will be offering a pre-service quiet space for reflection or meditation beginning at 6:30. This will last, 15 to 20 minutes, so we have time to come in for the service. We'll be doing this in the school side of the building where there will be fewer distractions. So I invite you to join me for that. And thank you.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. Behold how good it is when people dwell together, living as one people, hand in hand. What keeps us safe and strong is that we have each other, one human family across the land. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Thank you to Joseph. Thank you to David Weeks. Thank you, Mary Monahan, for being my button pusher. And thank you to all of you for being here tonight. Enjoy the Oneg. We ended, it's only like 10 minutes to 8, so you've got plenty of time.